Hello and welcome back to my channel. This morning I dipped into the Dirty Martini palette from Glamlite. The last time I used this palette was over on the Instagram Reels tab, and I had like a blue-green peacocky sort of look, and today I wanted to keep it much more green. So I really enjoyed this eyeshadow look. I'm really loving this palette and the Glamlite formula. I'm just having so much fun with it. So if you'd like to see how I created this eyeshadow look using this palette, then stick around and I will show you. And if you haven't been here before, hello and welcome. My name is Rachel. I'm just a homeschooling stay-at-home mom who loves to play with colorful eyeshadow. If you like to see colorful tutorials and other content on your timeline, then I hope you'll consider liking and subscribing. Remember that you can find me on Instagram at Shimmers and Silver. And without further ado, let's get into this eye look. Okay, I've already primed my eyes using the Glamlite primer in the shade White Frosting, and I'm trying to decide what colors to use today. My husband got up with me this morning and he's sitting on his chair in the living room, so quietly judging me and pulling faces. So I'm a little self-conscious. Last time I used this palette, I definitely did like a blue-green look because it's one of my favorite color combos, but today I want to stay a little bit more green and maybe add some blue on the lower lash line. So let's get started. I'm taking a medium-sized blending brush and dipping into the shade Dirty Martini. This is going to be a transition color, so I'm starting it in the outer corner of the crease, and then I'll blend that all the way through the crease. I recently did a video where I compared this palette to the Avocado Toast from BH Cosmetics, and I ended up like putting them side by side and swatching them on my arm and deciding first off how they compared, because when I was looking to buy this palette I wasn't sure if I basically already had it in the Avocado Toast or if it was different. And putting them side by side, I discovered quickly that they were very different. And I ended up decluttering Avocado Toast because those colors were more subdued and grungy and muted, and they just didn't do very much for me. Like they didn't make me smile. They didn't, like the colors themselves didn't bring me any kind of joy. And then putting them on my face was not the most flattering thing. So I prefer this palette because it's a lot more vibrant and colorful, and it's got a lot more life and pep to it. And I don't know. I found that video fun too because it was nice to look at the two next to each other and decide this one I don't really need it. I didn't want to keep that one. And this one I did like and I did want to keep. Using the same brush, I haven't bothered to color switch it. I'm going into the shade Green Olive right here. And this one is going to be placed in the outer corner and then onto about half of the lid. So speaking of BH Cosmetics, I am currently editing a video where I talk about the fact that they just declared bankruptcy. And honestly, a lot of my opinions in that video are not original. They're just garnered from the various things that I've read and videos that I've watched, like various sources. Other people's points, which made a lot of sense to me. I haven't personally done a ton of research into it, but I wanted to just kind of touch on that subject, at least briefly, because I have a lot of BH Cosmetics palettes, and I have a lot of BH tutorials, and it's certainly a major topic in the industry currently. So that video I'm hoping to finish editing today. It's taking longer than I wanted it to, but I also don't want to spend all my time on my phone editing videos, so sometimes it just has to take longer. And I'm hoping to have that one posted, well, sometime today or possibly tomorrow. I don't know why, but lime green on the eyes makes me smile. It makes my husband roll his eyes, but it makes me smile. He told me that that he wouldn't make any noise, but he's not responsible for any faces he might pull. And I responded that because I'm not wearing my glasses, I can't see any faces that he's pulling. So now he's added hand motions to the face pulling. And he's doing like that sort of thing. Very mature. He's cute though, so he can stay. Even if he does term my eyeshadow as aquatic. Now with a smaller pencil brush, I'm dipping into the shade Dry Vermouth right here. Honestly, I think I'll combine that one with the extra dirty over here and just get a nice deepening out color. Go back and forth in the pans and deepen this outer corner. I'm not taking that medium blending brush and just softening out these edges a bit. I think today, instead of aquatic, it's more like tree frog. But I'm not convinced that's a bad thing. He is. It makes me happy. These colors are so pretty. I'm dipping gently back into that green olive color, that very bright limey color, and helping work these shades together. But making sure that I stay to the outer area because I don't want to carry those more brown shades into the inner corner. All right, now it's time for shimmer. I'm going to take a flat brush and I'm going into the shade Chilled right here. As usual, I'm going to dip into the pan, get it all over my brush, and then spray my brush. This shade I'm going to place on almost all of the lid, well, this inner half of the lid leading up to the green and brown in the outer corners, but I'm not going to go on the very, very inner corner of the eye of the lid. And I'm going to use this shadow to sort of do a faux cut crease because it's different enough from the green that it'll show up. And to help transition that shimmer into the green shades, I'm going to dip into the color Vodka-Tini and do the same thing. I'm going to dip into the pan, then spray my brush, and then I'm going to place that color over on the seam line between this first shimmer and the green mattes. Because shimmer likes to blend into shimmer, so if you can have a shimmer color that's similar to the outer matte that you're trying to blend into, it'll work a lot more smoothly. And then going back into that small blending brush, I'm dipping back into the dry vermouth shade in the far corner. And I'm just going to blend into that green shimmer I just laid down. I also might dip a bit into the green olive color again for the same purpose, because I do want to keep it quite green out here. Okay, now I'm going to clean up under my eyes and then I'll be back to finish up these colors. Okay, so for the lower lash line, I do want to add in a little bit of blue, but not too much because I want this look to be mainly green. So I'm taking a small blending brush. I'm going to first dip into the shade Dirty Martini again, this one right here. And I'm going to put that on my lower outer lash line. That'll just blend into all the greens that are already there. But it's a light enough tone that I can add in the blue and it wouldn't be too much of a shock. Now I'm going to color switch that brush and dip into the shade Classic, which is this sort of blue-gray matte over here. And Classic I'm going to carry from where I ended the green all the way to the inner corner. It's basically the same mid to light tone level of the green Dirty Martini that we just laid down. And because blue and green work so nicely together, it just, it works well in that bottom lash line. I've decided I want a little bit more of the green in the shimmer, so I'm going back to my original flat C brush and I'm dipping back into the shade Vodka-Tini right here. And I'm just going to pull that, right now that's just used as a transition color, but I want to pull that a little more onto the lid. So I've dipped into the pan, sprayed the brush, and laying that down a little bit more central. Okay, now with a smaller version of that same flat shader brush, I'm going to dip into the shade On the Rocks, which is right up here. Again, I'm going to dip into the pan, then spray my brush. In case you were curious about what's happening on the inner corner, that's what this is for. So I'm going to place it on the inner corner, and I'm going to wrap it down to this blue that we placed in the lower lash line. So it'll be my inner corner highlight as well as touch the bottom lash line. And then what it does when it meets up with this brownish shimmer, chilled that we laid down before. Again, they're both shimmer formulas, so they like to blend into each other. So I'm just dragging the blue a bit onto chilled. And then dipping into chilled and dragging that down a little bit over the blue. Basically back and forth until I have a gradient that I like. And with that same small blending brush, making sure that I take the On the Rocks color and I drag that down into the beginning of the lower lash line. Okay, that's about it. I'm going to take two different eyeliners. They're both from the Lush Life series by ColourPop. One of them is called Canopy, it's a dark green, and then the light green is called Aglow. And I'm going to place them on my waterline corresponding to the depth of the green that I used. So I'll put Canopy out here. And then I will put Aglow on the inner corner above this blue. I almost put Big Splash in this area, which is a light blue eyeliner, but I wanted to keep the look a little bit more green leaning. That blue is just a little accent color. I've used this palette once before. I did an Instagram reel with it, and it was, it's just a really nice palette. The colors were beautiful and it was so much fun, and I was very excited to play with it more. This was one of my Christmas purchases / gifts. Okay, that's it. I'm going to go off camera and add some black eyeliner. I'll do a wing and some mascara, and then I'll be back to show you the end result. Alright guys, here is the finished look. I have to say, I am loving how this turned out. The last time I used this palette, it was a very green-blue look, and this time I wanted to keep it much more green with just a little pop of blue, and I love it. You know, I am very quickly falling in love with the Glamlite formula. This formula was so highly rated, and I just, it's very much more like Beauty Bay, particularly the shimmers. They're a little bit more like putty. I think this eyeshadow look is so beautiful, and I was so excited to play more with this palette. So thank you for hanging out with me today. I hope you enjoyed the look and the tutorial. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And until I see you again, have a wonderful day. Bye!
This is gonna be so much fun.
You're such a pain in the butt.
Huh?
You're such a pain in the butt.
I fell asleep.
I'm now dipping back into that. I'm not dipping. Are you quite finished? Can I do my eyeshadow now?
You're welcome to do your eyeshadow anytime, dear. I'm not stopping you. Oh, I would never.
You're so mean. You're making me all self-conscious.